Hello, friends. How are you? Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1 cent Lincoln penny, one of the most iconic coins in American history. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary copper coin, but some Lincoln pennies are worth thousands, even millions of dollars. In this video, we'll explore the top two most valuable and ultra-rare Lincoln pennies, including rare mint marks like P and D, different color variations, and shocking error coins that collectors are desperately searching for. From classic copper coins to rare shades and even dirty condition finds that turn into hidden treasures, you'll be surprised at what these small coins will be worth today. Many people spend them without even checking, but what if the penny sitting in your drawer right now could change your financial future? Before you spend that old coin, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Let's start with the first coin. Now, let's talk about the first coin, the 1967 Lincoln 1 cent penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. A small copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Millions of people have seen it. Millions have spent it without even thinking. But here's what makes it interesting. In 1967, the United States Mint did not place mint marks on coins. That means, even though most of these pennies were produced in Philadelphia, you won't see a P under the date. This sometimes confuses new collectors who think a missing mint mark makes it rare. In reality, for 1967, no mint mark is completely normal. The year 1967 was a special time in American coin history. During the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint was facing a coin shortage. People were hoarding coins, especially silver coins, because metal prices were rising. To discourage collecting and hoarding, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from 1965, 1966, and 1967 coins. They also stopped producing proof coins for collectors during those years, and instead made special mint sets. So the 1967 penny represents a period when the U.S. government was trying to protect the coin supply and stabilize the economy. That historical background makes the coin interesting, even if it isn't automatically rare. The 1967 Lincoln penny is made mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. It has that classic reddish-brown color when it's new, but over time, many of these coins turn brown or dark due to circulation and oxidation. Collectors actually classify them by color: red, red-brown, and brown. A bright red, uncirculated 1967 penny is much more desirable than a dark, heavily worn one. Condition plays a massive role in value. A dirty or damaged coin usually remains worth just 1 cent, but a perfectly preserved example in high mint state condition can sell for significantly more to collectors. Now, let's address the big question. Is a 1967 penny worth millions of dollars? In normal condition, absolutely not. Billions of 1967 pennies were produced, which makes them very common. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples are only worth face value. However, there are rare exceptions that can be valuable. The real money is not in the standard coin. It's in rare mint errors or extremely high-grade certified examples. For example, if a 1967 penny has a major mint error, such as a double die, off-center strike, clip planchet, or wrong metal strike, its value can increase dramatically. Error coins are created during the minting process when something unusual happens: a misalignment, a defective die, or mechanical mistake. These errors are accidental, and collectors love them because they are unique. A dramatic, visible error in strong condition could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and demand. Another important factor is grading. Professional coin grading companies examine coins under magnification and assign them a condition grade. A 1967 penny graded at the very top of the scale, something like MS 66 or higher in full red condition, can bring strong prices at auction, not because it's rare in general, but because very few survive in nearly perfect condition after decades. The difference between an average coin and a near-perfect coin can mean the difference between 1 cent and several $100s. There is also something psychological about older copper coins. Many people believe that if a coin looks old, dirty, or unusual in color, it must be extremely valuable. But in coin collecting, rarity and condition matter more than age alone. A dirty 1967 penny found in pocket change is usually just a circulated copper coin. Cleaning it actually reduces its value because collectors prefer original surfaces. So if someone finds one, the smartest move is not to clean it, but to examine it carefully for errors or unusual features. The Lincoln penny itself has a powerful history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Before that, American coins mostly showed symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. The Lincoln design changed the identity of American coinage forever. By 1967, the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse had already been in use since 1959, replacing the original wheat ears design. So the 1967 penny sits in the middle of an important design era that lasted until 2008. When people claim a common 1967 penny will make you a billionaire overnight, that's not realistic. However, that doesn't mean the coin is meaningless. Its true power lies in knowledge. The real opportunity comes from understanding what makes a coin valuable: mint errors, condition, rarity, demand, and historical importance. If you learn those factors, you won't be misled by hype, and you won't accidentally spend a genuinely rare piece. So if you have a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, check it carefully. Look at the date. Examine the lettering. Inspect the surface under good lighting. Search for doubling, unusual strikes, or metal differences. Weigh if possible. It should weigh about 3.11 grams since it's a pre-1982 copper composition. If something looks dramatically different from normal examples, then it might be worth having examined by an expert. In the end, the 1967 Lincoln penny is a fascinating part of American coin history. It represents a time of economic adjustment, a temporary removal of mint marks, and a continuation of one of the most iconic coin designs ever created. Most are worth just 1 cent. Some high-grade or error examples can be worth much more. But the true treasure is not in believing every coin is worth millions. It's in learning how to identify the rare ones that truly are special. And that's what separates a casual spender from a smart coin collector. Now, let's move to the second and final coin, the 1999 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, this coin looks completely ordinary. It carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and just below the date, you'll see a small D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint. Billions of these pennies were produced in 1999, and most of them are still sitting in jars, drawers, and piggy banks across America. But here's where things become interesting. While the average 1999 D penny is only worth 1 cent, certain rare varieties and errors from this year have shocked collectors and sold for far more than face value. By 1999, the Lincoln cent was no longer made primarily of copper like older coins. Instead, it had a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This change actually began in 1982 due to rising copper prices. So if you hold a 1999 D penny, you're holding a coin that looks like copper but is mostly zinc inside. That means it weighs about 2.5 grams, lighter than the older 3.11 gram copper cents. This small difference may seem minor, but for collectors, composition changes are a big part of coin history because they reflect economic shifts and metal market pressures. Now, let's address the real reason the 1999 D penny sometimes grabs headlines: mint errors and high-grade condition. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of these coins, which means common examples in circulated dirty or worn condition are only worth face value. A scratched, stained, or heavily used 1999 D penny will not make anyone rich. But when we move into the world of mint errors, everything changes. Coins struck off-center, coins with dramatic die cracks, double strikes, broad strikes, or misaligned dies can attract serious attention. These are mistakes made during the minting process, and because they are accidental, they create uniqueness in a year that is otherwise common. There's also something called a wide AM and closed AM variety that collectors study in late 1990s Lincoln cents. Small design differences in the spacing of the letters in America on the reverse can separate a normal coin from a scarce variety. These tiny details require careful observation under magnification. Most people would never notice the difference while spending the coin at a store. But a trained eye sees what others ignore. That's often how valuable coins are discovered, not by luck alone, but by knowledge and patience. Another powerful factor is condition. A 1999 D penny found in circulation today is usually brown or dull red-brown from years of use. But a coin preserved in brilliant red mint state condition can be far more desirable. When a coin receives a very high professional grade, something near the top of the grading scale, its value increases because very few survive without marks, scratches, or wear. Collectors compete for the finest known examples, and that competition can push prices much higher than most people expect for a modern 1-cent coin. However, it's important to stay realistic. Claims that every 1999 D penny is worth millions are simply not true. The vast majority are common. Becoming a billionaire overnight from a pocket change penny is not how coin collecting works. The real opportunity lies in understanding varieties, spotting genuine mint errors, and recognizing exceptional condition. Hype spreads quickly, especially online, but serious collectors rely on facts, grading standards, and market demand. The history behind the 1999 Lincoln cent is also meaningful. As the end of the millennium approached, the United States was preparing for major changes in coin design. Just a few years later, in 2009, special bicentennial Lincoln designs would replace the memorial reverse temporarily. So the 1999 D penny represents the final years of the long-running Lincoln Memorial era that began in 1959. It is part of a transitional period in modern American coinage, produced during a time of economic growth and technological modernization at the U.S. Mint. If you find a 1999 D penny, the smart approach is simple. Examine it carefully under bright light. Check for unusual doubling in the letters or date. Look at the word America closely. Inspect the rim for off-center strikes. Notice whether the surfaces are unusually clean and bright. And most importantly, never clean the coin. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and reduce collector value instantly. Original condition is everything in modern coin collecting. So what is the true value of a 1999 D Lincoln penny today? In circulated condition, it remains 1 cent. In high mint state condition, it can be worth significantly more to collectors. With a strong visible mint error, it can reach into the hundreds or even thousands depending on rarity and demand. But its real power lies not in unrealistic promises. It lies in awareness. The difference between 1 cent and a valuable collectible often comes down to knowledge. And that's the exciting part of coin collecting. Ordinary coins pass through millions of hands every day. Most are spent without a second thought. But once you understand mint marks, varieties, composition changes, and grading, you begin to see coins differently. You stop seeing spare change and start seeing history, craftsmanship, and possibility. That's what makes the 1999 D Lincoln penny worth talking about. Not because every coin is a hidden fortune, but because somewhere among the billions produced, a small number carry the rare characteristics that collectors are willing to pay for. See you in the next video.